All right, welcome to part 3, the last part of the 3-part series with Joe Crane. You know, if you didn't watch the previous ones, you want to dial back, hit the rewind button, crank it back. Part 1, we talked about, and it's all about the 3 pillars of profit, guys, for every single contracting company. So part 1 was all about time and team. Getting control of your time, guys, is one of the most important things you can do, right? I mean, you can think about all these strategies here that we're covering off, all these tips and tricks and insights, but guess what? If you don't take the time, if you don't know how to get the time, then guess what? All these ideas are just for nothing, right? That's the way it is, okay? So time and team is the first thing we covered off in part 1. And, you know, part 2, we got into profits and cash flow. Joe talked about an invoicing system. He showed you, explained to you guys in part 2 of profits and cash flow, 3 quick little things that you can do to get your invoicing happening. And on this one here, guys, part 3, we're going to be talking about marketing and sales. You know, we got to make sure that we get a system in place, a sales system in place, a marketing system in place, knowing how to niche, which is all about getting focused in on who's the right audience for you so you can get the right audience clients, right? It's super key, right? We don't want to get trash clients. We don't want to get people that are thieves. We don't want to get people that like use us as a bank, right? So follow Joe's system, what we taught him in there, and how to systemize your sales process. But most importantly, in part 3, what we're going to cover off right now, today, here, right now, is about your mindset, okay? What kind of mindset is needed to become a champion CEO, to be able to implement these strategies to take your business to the next level? Joe's going to share that. So if you haven't seen the previous ones, go back to it. You know, if you like this, then like us, okay? That's all we ask. Subscribe, get more of these insights. And look, if you're looking for help, if you're looking at applying any of these strategies in the previous podcast and what Joe covered off, you guys can get the same shit, man. You can get the same help. You can get the same insights, okay? And it actually doesn't cost you anything, to get a perspective of what a plan should be for you, what are the obstacles holding you back, the real obstacles, right? Just click below. We can help you out. Book in for chat, and we'll see you on the flip side. Welcome to another podcast, No Bullshit Podcast for Contractors. Talk to you soon. Until right now, this very moment, contractors have always been on their own, not as tradespeople, but being alone and knowing how to take their business to the next level. They call us working class, they call us blue collar. They say that we don't have the smarts to become the business owner that we're meant to be. That is such bullshit. You have the ability. You're more than any of that. The question really is, where do you get the insights that you need specific to contracting to systemize your business so you can get your profits to pay for your freedom? I'm Andrew Houston. I'm going to show you how to make more profits, how to get more control, how to get more freedom in the simplest, quickest way possible without any of that bullshit. Welcome to the No Bullshit Podcast for Contractors. Listen up, level up, and if you learn something, like the video, subscribe to the channel, change your business, change your life. So let's move into marketing and sales. Okay, so we've covered off time and team, the first one, talking about profits and cash flow, and predictability, predictable cash, right? Predictable profits is predictable cash, for fuck's sake, right? Okay, so now we're into marketing and sales. Let's talk a little bit about, you got some great coaching from a couple of we got some experts, right? We got Rick, we got Jay, we got on the financial side, we got mindset mastery, we got Matt on the mindset. These people are in there, done it, lots of them are contractors still and applying this shit. So what were a couple of things that the boys gave you insights on? Marketing and sales.
Yeah, so I'll give you the sales spiel for profit for contractors. So not only is it the coaching, it's the library of data. Because like I said, I had never done any residential sales. I didn't know how to start. I didn't know what to do. So I was literally walking in without any industry experience, because I've always sold commercial. I can sell big commercial jobs, but I couldn't crack the nut on the residential. And that's what I needed for to fix my cash flow. So there's 3 big sites that PFC has. They've got the Facebook where they post the videos from the weekly conferences. They've got, what is it, Kajabi?
Yep, Kajabi, where we got the modules all in training.
Kajabi, there's quite a bit up there also.
Yep, that's right. Yep.
And then the standard training has quite a bit. So I did a table of contents. I went through everything and found everything related to marketing material, and I think it was close to 40 hours. It might have been 37, 38 hours. And I went through, and maybe one video, I got one idea. There were several videos where I was pausing it every 15 seconds, and I would have 4 or 5 pages
I didn't
filled
know
up
that.
from a video. Yeah, absolutely. So I went through, and that kind of helped me develop like an overall sales process of like, how do you start from getting leads to qualifying your leads to making the sales visit to closing the deal, and then you take it from execution from there. So I got those, and then I kind of organized my notes from there. Then when I had that almost like a marketing plan put together, I started hitting up the coaches. Hey, Rick, what do you think about this? Call up Jay a couple times. What do you think about that? And they would critique it, and I would tell them like, hey, don't be easy on me. I'm looking for holes in what I've got here. And they've helped me really put the whole thing together, soup to nuts, from closing. What do you call it? Like closing phrases. How to push people forward. How to find the true buyers from the guys that are just kicking tires. How do you? And some of it too was just them recommending me to a company. There's a company that PFC works with, Leads for Trades. They made the intro from there and said, hey, now that we've got this process set down, call these guys, tell them X, Y, and Z, and they'll take it from there. Because, you can go on YouTube and spend 50 or 100 hours and probably do what they're going to do, but I would rather pay them and then they could do it for me. Because if you've got all these different quote unquote experts that are doing this for you, what would take me 20 hours to implement, they could probably do in 2. So why would I spend my time doing shit like that when I could be doing other things to systematize this business? Because my end objective in this is to not run this as much as I am, because I want to get into real estate, and I've got some projects going on back in Africa. So I need to know that if I go to Sudan for 10 days, that I'm not going to come back to a complete mess. So if you get all these systems in place, you can do that. And you might not want to do what I'm doing. Maybe you just want to coach Little League or, do something else. And whatever you want to do is fine. But if you don't have your shit under control, your wife is going to continue to be mad at you because you're never at dinner on time. Your kids are going to, they're going to grow up fast, and, they're going to remember, yeah, dad was always at work. They going to remember, hey, dad was always at work and he never had time for me? Or, yeah, he was working. He was always a hard worker, but, he coached Little League for me. And, whenever I came to his office and asked for a catch, he would, yeah, come on, let's go. That's the kind of dad I want to be. But if you got 50 phone calls, people asking for money, and oh shit, I forgot to call so-and-so back because we don't have a process for sales, you're never going to get there.
You're just crushing this, man. So look at guys like, I got to tell you, when it comes to marketing and sales, all right, it's probably one of the weakest places for contractors. Okay, when it comes to, like growing their business from like, getting more and more clients, right? It's probably one of the toughest places, but it's the easiest place. And what the hell do I mean by that? We're in a world right now whereby, and maybe this isn't you, but I'm talking like 89%. We're in the world right now where there's a massive shortage of trades. Okay, we're in a world right now where there's less and less and less tradespeople coming through the production line of like,
right.
So right. It's getting worse and worse and worse. If you've been a contractor for even a year or two, and you're not getting repeat business, you're not getting referrals, there's something fucking wrong that you're doing, okay? Like your delivery side is shit. It's not that there's not enough work for you. It's that you're not creating predictable processes in delivering a great product and service that people want to come back to, because there's so many people that I don't care, electrician, fucking concrete, I don't care what, plumbing, HVAC, there is massive demand, okay, for what you guys do. So what's the other problem with that? The other problem with that is that we're busy. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys a couple of tips, and Joe, you let me in on how this affected you, right? One of the very first things that you want to do, a lot of people will say, they'll say that you've got to filter fast, right? Well, actually, that comes from us here, but you want to filter fast. You want to make sure you get the right people. Well, guess what? If you don't define what it is that you want, then the world will give you whatever it gives you. So you have to get clear on who your target audience is, all right? I'm not saying you have to have one target audience. I get these people saying, oh, you should have one fucking bullshit. You should have one. No, you should. What happens if something happens with that? You should have at least a few. Not fucking. You shouldn't be the jack of all trades, but you should be a little bit diversified in what you do. Right? If you're doing construction, you should definitely have a service side. Why? Service is a critical non-essential. It's something that is needed, and they go hand in hand. Okay. So with that being said. You want to make sure, number one, you define who the marketing calls it avatar. Okay, it's really who's the clientele that you want to go after, and based upon what you would have learned and Joe learned and how to price jobs profitably and cash flow and stuff, who's the right clients that are going to be able to pay me what I'm worth and pay me in time, on time, if not ahead of time, right?
So not be a jackass through the whole process.
Yes, exactly, right? So here's the thing. Whether you believe it or not, I'm going to tell you right now, what Joe has been able to do is to really dial it into who it is that he and his team want to work for. How important has that been, Joe? Is it just fucking taking any call that comes in?
Oh, huge, because not only that, but you can actually systematize everything from leads to job closeout. Because what we've done is we were a jack of all trades a year and a half ago, and
by the way, that's where I brought it up.
Yeah. Every time you do that, are you still with me?
Yep.
Oh, sorry, your radio went out. So what we've done is we've created 6 different buckets of work, and it sounds complex, but it's not. We do concrete installation, we do concrete repair, and we do concrete maintenance, right? So we do power washing, we've added that all the way up to, a $900,000 building. And then we have 2 types of clients, commercial and government and residential.
There you go. Yep.
And when you define those 6 buckets, if it's interesting, we'll consider it, but it's got to be really interesting for the right reasons, right? When you define those, we can systematize our lead process. We can systematize how, we're vetting our clients, because you can go broke really fast just by going and taking every phone call. Oh, you want this? I'll be right out there, right? You can spend a lot of windshield time if you aren't vetting them properly. But by doing that, I haven't done it yet, but I'm looking to actually start adding some salespeople in, and I'll have checklists and systems for them.
Absolutely.
And I've been working on a handover procedure from me when I sell a job to the superintendent. So that way, when I fill those people in, it's just like a seamless transfer.
Pre-start, baby. Pre-start phase.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. Totally. And, when you define those ideal clients, you can actually do some really interesting marketing. And Jay Carter is kind of like the master on that, one of the coaches. And he walked me through that on building that avatar and how you can market specifically to them. Because you can actually identify where in the business you need help. Because if you don't have enough leads, you're going to take every fucking phone call that you get and go drive out there because you're just desperate for the business. But if you got a shitload of leads, you can vet them properly and only visit the ones that are gonna pay your price and be a good client at the end of the day.
It's so true. Now I'm going to give everybody an example just so you guys get this. Okay, you ready? So I'm going to give a client that we've got. Okay, plumbing client, and this is one of the marketing strategies that we use. Now he thought in the beginning, Andrew, full of shit. I'm like, okay, let's give it a try. So he does one of the things that he does is water treatment. Now, I know based upon doing some research, like Jay, like fucking master of let's look at this demographic, right? Let's look at this particular geographic area, right? That the area that he would get a lot of calls on was people that had well water. Just interesting. I said to him, hey, every time your guys go out, they got to put the sign up saying that you guys are doing an install at this location. Obviously get the permission and stuff like that. Because fucking lawn signs, they don't work. Okay, let's make a bet. You say, okay, whatever, coach. I said, okay, stick with me, dude. I said, stick with me. Let's see what happens. I said, here's what I want you to do. Put on the sign. Do you have smelly water? He went, what? Yeah. Do you have smelly water? He's like, that's not going to work. Well, let's see what happens. So he went out, bought 5 signs. I said, if you don't get anything from it, I'll not only pay for the signs, I'll pay you double. Fuck. He's like, no, what? Yep. I'll pay. Phone rings off the hook. Who do you think was calling, Joe? Who in a family Who in a family cares about the smell of water?
The wife.
Why, Joe?
Because she's the one doing laundry and all that stuff.
Yeah, right. No offense, guys, but a lot of us like, whatever, smells a little bit. No, the smelling of their hair, the smelling of their kids' clothes. We're like, whatever, suck it up. I grew up on a farm. I grew up on a farm. My fucking clothes stunk like fucking eggs sometimes. My dad's like, whatever, that's just the way it is.
Right.
Well water. Well, guess what? That sign with the question mark, game freaking changer.
Right.
The phone rang out. He's like, holy fuck, don't you want to believe it? I'm like, dude, when you know who you're targeting, and I knew who that question was targeting, it was not the man. It was the woman. And I also knew the majority of the homes in there were young families. Little babies. They want the freaking babies' freaking outfit smelling like freaking rotten eggs.
Right.
Like, your kid freaking stinks here. Like, right? Change his diaper. Well, it's not the diaper, it's the fucking water. Oh, right? Dude, guys, everybody listen in. Joe putting these people in the buckets means that his language and his conversation and how he approaches them and what he says to them, it actually matters. No different than a progress to profit board, right? It's a different language, right? Targeting older people, family members, commercial versus residential. You might be like, it's a lot of work. You know what's a lot of fucking work? It's quoting a shitload till the sun comes up and the sun goes down on the weekends. And the people that you land are just tire kickers. They use you as banks, and nobody really, you're like, you just take them whatever.
Right, and the sales process is totally different.
Oh my God, totally,
if
dude.
you talk to a general contractor about how his driveway, or about how a pad is going to make him feel, he doesn't care about that. He wants to know you're going to be on schedule. You're going to have guys out there in a proper PPE. But if you go out there and you just start talking technical shit to a family who wants their driveway redone, they don't care about the PSI and the rebar and all that happy horse shit until they know that you care about, hey, I'm sure, this is difficult for you. This is what we're going to do to not interrupt your family life. They want to hear about all that. They want to know about the technical stuff, but they want to know about it after they've already liked you and that they know that you're going to respect their property.
Totally, dude. Totally. And Joe, once you start breaking it down, it things start popping off, right? Like, I'm going to say I'm a GC. Not only do I want to know that these guys are consistent, your GCs want to know that you've got a system. They want to know you got a process. They want to know that your fucking guys are following something to give consistency of quality against time. They want to know, hey man, even if they don't ask for it, you want to see GCs love you? Okay? Show them your checklist. You want to see them really go through the roof? Every time the pad is done, Joe's guys, go take a picture, send it to the GC. The GC not only gets informed that it's done, he sees that it's done right.
Yep.
And he sees that it was left with no fucking cracks. So when something happens and some Wally, other trades, comes along and drops something and cracks it, you're like, no, dude. Hey, no, it wasn't freaking Joe's company. It was you, dude.
Right. Oh, dude, I swear to God, this is a true story. I started having my guys do daily reports on every job, right? And we actually poured concrete after the columns on this restaurant went up, right? And I had pictures the day of when we were finished the whole bit. They went through later and fixed something in the roof, and the guy that was spackling the roof got spackle all over these, what is it? I forget, but it's kind of like a textured wall.
Yeah.
That was super expensive to put up. And somebody was like, oh, that's concrete, back charged to the crane. So they back charged me. I was able to pull up those datas and go, guys, here's the photos of the day we were done. And just coincidentally, when we did the sidewalk over there, you can see the building in the background. There's nothing on there. That shit came there after I was well and done. And that saved us, that was like, I think a $10,000 or $15,000 change order. They were trying to ding us on because they had to go back through and, it was stucco. They had to go through and redo all the stucco again because they couldn't get that shit off of it.
Joe, do you mind if I just take that and amplify the shit out of it? I'm going to take 60 seconds. Ready? Okay, 15 grand, Joe. And guys, I do this all the time. I use this example all the time. Same sort of principle.
I know what you're going to ask me. Yep.
You know, dude.
How much do I have to sell to make that
bingo
15 grand?
So Joe, let's just say Joe is making 10 points net. Okay, which I know he's making more, but let's say he's making 10. Most contractors be lucky to make single digits because most of them are hardly making freaking any money. If not, they're losing money. But let's say it's 10 points, bottom line. Net profit means net. Like, you got this net. Oh my God, there's 10,000 fish. But then after the net comes through, there's only like 500 fish. That's why I like analogies. We call it net profit. What's still in the net? I don't know. That makes sense to me. So say Joe's only making 10% of his sales. So if he sold $1 million, at the end of the year, he gets to keep in his hand $100,000 if it's 10%. So Joe, how much sales would you have to pay if you make in order for you to have paid that $15,000 if you had 10 points net?
150 grand.
Hear that, everybody? 150 grand. By the way, he'd have to do 150 grand worth of work and end up with zippo.
Yeah, that's right. To get back to even. Yep.
What? Yeah, that's right. So this 5,000 here, 500 there. Okay, change order this, change order. Like guys, it really freaking matters. If Joe had 2 or 3 of those in a year, Joe's working like fucking half a year for nothing, guys. So important that you know your numbers. Back to profits and cash flow, and notice how this carried into what? Marketing and sales, son of a bitch.
Yep.
Right? Okay. Yep. So a couple of other tips, and let's start wrapping this up. So we talked about time and team, talked about profits and cash flow, marketing and sales. What are some of the other? So knowing your niche, making sure you identify who your targets are. Okay. Making sure you got the right systems and communication for them. Anything else you'd add on the marketing and sales side?
Marketing and sales, if you aren't good at it, you can get good at anything that you're not good at. You have the capacity to learn and to get the help. Because a lot of people will just say, "Oh, I'm great at sales, but I'm not great at execution," or I'm the best drywall guy, I'm the best electrician in the world, I just can't sell my services. You can learn whatever you need to learn to be successful. It's only a matter of attitude.
Yeah, and what's funny? Joe. When I was doing a lot of these, I get asked to speak in front of big audiences, right? I enjoy it, right? And I get to the marketing and sales side, and I go, I want everybody to raise their hand and let me know if they, your guys are contractors in here. Okay, great, raise your hand. So get everybody active, right? So I want everybody to raise their hand if they think if they provide the best quality and the best service. How many hands do you think go up, Joe?
Every one of them, I bet.
I go, keep your hands up. Look around. Yeah. Interesting.
Right.
You know what's interesting about that? You all say you're the best. The best this, the best that. That is baloney. What you want to do is have the proof of what that is.
Right.
Like, best quality. Well, how do you provide? Well, we provide the best quality because we follow this process, because we do it like this, right? Huge, right?
Yeah,
so
the thing is too, on the marketing and sales side is, you need to be charging a higher price than everybody else in order to make those margins. If you come there and you talk as a tradesperson, we provide the best quality, the best service, yada, yada, yada. Guess what? 5 other guys just came and said the same thing. And, I'm sure there's a low baller in there. It's probably half your price. If you aren't able to connect with them, how they need to be connected with, and it is different, versus commercial versus government versus residential. If you can't do that, you're not going to be able to charge the rates you need to make in order to pay your guys well, to give your guys insurance, to pay yourself properly, to be able to have the right machinery, the right tools and equipment, to make a profit and to be in business, because that guy just lowballed him, but guess what? He's not going to be in business in a year. So when that sidewalk cracks and you're looking for that guy, you're going to be paying somebody else to come in and do it from scratch. So you've got to be able not to talk the way you want to talk, but to talk the way that they need to be talked to, and so that they're heard however they want to be heard, so that you can sell to them. And those are all learnable skills. I went from 0 on residential, because the funny thing is I've done so well in sales, I thought I could sell anything. And then I hit a brick wall when I got into residential sales. I could not sell a driveway to save my life. And that's when I went and got into the books, got into the videos, got into the training, and, built a system, because I realized I didn't have that specific skill set. So, you can build a very this is America or Canada, we've got very successful economies, very fair judicial system, so success is just a matter of putting the right things in place. You just got to be willing to put in that effort. To give you another analogy, there's a buddy of mine that I knew from a long time ago. He was in special operations, and I follow him on Instagram. And I think every Sunday he does this Sunday Sentinel thing where he talks about personal security. And he talked one week about always keeping a half a tank of gas in your car, because if you ever get into a bad spot, you don't want to be, have a gallon of gas and worried about your gas while you're trying to get out of a bad position. And somebody in the comments said, do you really think people are going to fill up their gas tank every time they get to a half a tank? And his response was, no, only those people that are concerned about the security. So nobody can promise you an easy path to success. I don't care who they are, right? But if you talk to folks,
it's bullshit if they say there is.
Exactly,
it's complete bullshit.
It's telling you a line of horse shit.
No,
you might as well.
It's hard work. It's fucking hard work. You got to challenge your beliefs. Yeah, totally, dude.
But if you come in here, I went through. Nobody told me to go watch 38 hours of videos, but I knew I needed that. The data was there. I could build it to me, because you couldn't take my business plan, even if you're doing concrete work, and run it in Chicago, because the market is different there. You personally are different. So you've got to fit it to yourself. So you've got to set that time aside and put it into your pain points. Follow the system, but also follow your pain points, because everything is fixable. We're not SpaceX. We're not trying to put a freaking, person on Mars. You can be successful with this. You just have to implement the right things and do it consistently. You got to have that discipline.
And we're gonna start wrapping this baby up with, I'm gonna say this, is that you got to do the right things in the right order. There's a reason. So when I talk to everybody on this call about time and team, you got to get control of that. Okay, if you don't take the time to do anything out of this podcast, you just fucking wasted your time. Okay,
yep.
You got to then profits and cash flow. Make sure you're doing things that are worthy of your time and your team's time. And marketing and sales, making sure you're dealing with the people that are worthy of being dealt with, that are a good fit. Okay, it doesn't mean them bad people or what good people. It's just that fit your culture and your team and what you're trying to provide. So Joe, if there's one, like if you were to say like one line as far as like, what would you advise somebody to do, or your one bullet of a recommendation or advice, what would it be?
Get the help and try everything once, because too many people think that and I've gone through this with other folks, people think they're prognosticators when you should be a scientist, because like you said with the sign, like, is this sign going to work? Well, no, it's not going to work, because I can foresee the future and I can tell it's not going to work. No, you're a scientist, right? You're testing things. Like, I tested these whiteboards because I knew it wasn't going to work, but then I said, I'm not a prognosticator, I'm a scientist, right? So you've got to try all these things, and they might not work for you, but I guarantee you're going to find other things. And there's wisdom in the crowds. There's wisdom in talking to other people. So I've gotten great advice from just other people in the group. I've got great advice from watching videos. I've got great advice from talking to the coaches. So you've got to mix all that, and you've got to find a way to add that into your life, so you continually try out those new things and see what works for you.
Good man. All right. So listen, everybody, thank you, Joe, for great insights. And, we covered off a lot of information. What we're going to do is, I just made a decision now. We're going to break this into 3 chunks, 3 parts: time and team, profits and cash flow, marketing and sales. That way you guys can go back and be very focused in on, what most resonated with you. And Joe, thanks a lot, brother. You're fucking killing it.
Sir.
You're a great part of this family and this Champion CEO group. And I look forward to, hearing you keep fucking rock and rolling. Okay?
Absolutely,
everybody.
my man.
See you later, guys. Take her easy. Ciao. And we have just completed part 3 of the No Bullshit Podcast for Contractors, where Joe Crane talked about marketing and sales. He talked about how you can get, the right language, right? The right skill set, the right insight to talk to your Class A clients and master your marketing. How to put a plan together that is super simple. Marketing plan, guys, that you can apply right away, quickly. Yeah, no hassle, no fuss, right? And get results right away. So marketing and sales, guys, one of the key things you need, right? You can market yourself out of business, or you can market yourself to, profitability and get your profits paid for your freedom. So Thanks for joining us for this 3-part series. We're going to keep bringing you guys more gold. And if you want to get some more help, reach down below. Click down below, get some help. That's what the key guys do. That's what the top performers do. That's what I do. Why try and figure it all out on your own, right? Get others to give you how they figured it out, and then all you got to do is just do the same thing. Then you get the same results, if not better. So like us, subscribe to us, and we'll see you on the flip side. And thanks again for joining another kick-ass series from the No Bullshit Podcast for Contractors. Catch you guys on the flip. Stay safe. Ciao.